3 years ago, before my 900-day streak, I thought I was just born unlucky. Other guys looked better, had better skin, better hair, better eyes. Meanwhile, I just thought I was born to fail. Till I finally snapped and decided to give NoFap a shot. And this time, after just 3 short months, I completely changed for the better. I looked better, looked different, and I thought it was all within my head. Until I finally went back to school, where my classmates just couldn't stop talking about the transformation I have made. But the people that used to bully me up until this point now felt afraid to say a single word to me. So it turns out that this one habit really was the reason why I was struggling within my life. And now I'm gonna show you how you can beat this habit within your life, yourself, like I did. See, it wasn't actually easy. Back then, on the darkest day of my life, I ended up doing the habit 30 times in one day. And you know how bad you feel after just once. Now imagine that times 30. I felt suicidal. So there I was thinking of the plan how to just end it all. Literally the steps were there. Everything was in front of me. All I needed to just do was press a little button and that's it. But instead of doing that, I, for some reason, ended up checking YouTube out of all things. I just opened up my tablet back then and clicked on a random video that was different from the rest. And so back then I used to watch those people like Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie and all of these random YouTubers, but now there was this one bald guy, Pakistani guy who told me everything. His name was Hamza. And instead of giving up that day, I ended up changing for the better. And I ended up understanding something that I'm about to explain to you in a second. You see, it all started changing once I understood this one simple analogy about dopamine. Let me show you about that. As you can see, I've written down 6 habits over here. The first are video games, junk food, porn, etc. But what you must understand is the dopamine that they give you. Let's start off with video games, for example. Let's see what they can do to you. You see, they can give you about 50 points of dopamine, let's say. There you go, 50. That's good, right? Well, let's say that you only have a threshold of about 100 points of dopamine per day. That's already half of your dopamine filled up. Then we have junk food, that's about 40 points already, because it tastes so nice. And let's not even talk about porn. Porn is literally like 75 to 100. 75 to 100 right away. And imagine you do this first thing in the morning. Your motivation is gone completely. Now let's take a look at the good habits, such as going to the gym. Well, surprisingly, going to the gym, even though it's technically better than just the random habits like these ones, it will only give you about 15 points at max. Then we have talking with people. This is a bit better, so this would typically give you about 35 points, let's say. That's better. And then we have reading. Reading is something that isn't so fun for most people. So technically it would give you about 10 points max. So as you can see, even if we combine all of this, it will maximally give you 60 points of dopamine per day, which means you still have 40 points to fill up. So what does this mean? Well, you have to introduce other habits such as meditation and everything else. And what does this mean? Well, if so far you have been, let's say, watching porn and this has been giving to you 100 points right away, from now on you are gonna lack that dopamine every single day that you do not watch that porn, and this will make things harder. This is the reason why you suffer. This is the reason why you struggle with this habit. It's not because it's hard, it's because your brain needs the stimulation, and if you do not give the stimulation to the brain, which is in the range of 100 points, well then, too bad, bro. You're gonna go back to it no matter how much willpower or discipline you put up with it. So that would mean that you will have to go through a period of time of suffering for you to actually feel any sort of pleasure, wouldn't it? That would mean that you will have to abstain from all of this instant gratification activity for your brain to start actually craving the good activities such as going to the gym, reading, meditation, and all of these activities that will actually give you benefits long term. Now that's easier said than done, and I have a 5-step framework later on that I'm gonna show to you. And you see, at this point I have already done this. I have developed my dopamine receptor to actually crave the right type of dopamine. I have started going to the gym. 3 months have passed and I'm feeling better than ever, except I started going to school. And even though 3 months have passed, even though everything had changed, I had changed as an individual, I still had that one sense of fear that once I come back to school, everything will be different and people will continue to pick on me. And so I go back to school, and within the first day, I expect the worst. Except this time, the worst doesn't come. Instead, people don't even notice me because they thought I was the new kid. I was someone completely different. I mean, literally, before I left school, I had long hair, now I have a short hair. And I completely changed. I look more jacked and everything. And people started to notice me and actually praise me for that. Once in PE class, in physical education class, while we were dressing to go back to the typical classes, people just started looking at me and telling me that I could easily become a model. And the people that used to bully me up until this point, they hated that change. So let me show you how I have done this through my way, so you can literally just copy me. It's the easiest framework you have ever seen within your entire life. Alright, so here is the 5-step framework that you must do and integrate within your life for you yourself to quit masturbation instantly. So the first thing that you must understand is that you have to find yourself an interest within your life. Otherwise, you're just floating around like an lost child, hoping for his mother to finally come back after years. There is one good quote: if you have no destination, any road will get you there. And we don't want to be like that quote. Instead, we want to have a clear destination. So back then, I had this one interest of becoming better with speaking with people, because I fucking sucked. I didn't have a single friend, I didn't have a girlfriend up until this point. Meanwhile, my friends were fucking bro, and they were like 15. So what the fuck is going on with me? And I needed to change that. So that was my first interest. It instantly aroused me. It instantly just got inspired within me. Hey, I have to do this. I must change. And that's exactly what I did. I changed. I changed for the better, because I wanted to speak with girls and have actual friends. So that was my interest. However, that was not enough. The second thing that I have done was create a vision for myself. Without a vision, without something to move you forward, you're basically working for your current self. Now, let me explain something to you real quick, and do not get offended. If you liked yourself, if you seriously liked yourself right now, you would not be watching this video, because you would have already been in the perfect position of life you've always wanted to be in. You would make the money you wanted, you would have the girl you wanted, and you would not need help with quitting masturbation nor porn, because you don't struggle with that, because you love yourself. But right now you don't exactly love yourself, because so far, what has your current self done for you? Well, he jerked off. He jerked off again, he slept in the morning, he messed up his work schedule, perhaps you got beaten up a couple of times because of your dumbass, and now you're expecting yourself to love yourself? No, it's not gonna work out. So we need to create a future vision for ourselves. This could be something that will be about your mother, about your father, about somebody that you love, about something within life. Or if you don't have a vision like that, like I previously, you can just create a vision of your future self. Now, how will this look like? Well, back then I created for myself a vision of the person I wanted to become. I knew exactly how jacked I would be. I knew in which gym I will start. I knew how many girls I would approach, and I knew how many friends I would have. And as a bonus, I even visualized myself actually taking action and making money online as well. And that's exactly what happened. So create a vision for yourself out of that interest of yours. And don't be afraid to go even beyond that. The step number 3 I have done afterwards was ask myself this one simple question, which goes like, can I have sex right now? If we are thinking logically right now, when you wanna jerk off, what do you seriously want to do? You wanna fuck. But can you really fuck? Can you really have sex with anyone? Well, if the answer is yes, go and do it. If the answer is no, just do something that will lead you toward having sex in the future. That was the one simple statement that I have always asked myself every single time I would get corny. And now, what happened? Well, every single time the answer would be no. And every single time I would just drop down and do push-ups because I knew that my future self was jacked. And so what's the better way to make him even more jacked? Well, do push-ups instead of jerking off. Now, number 4 is the 1-minute rule. You see, if you think about it, bro, do you seriously believe that our ancestors were waking up in the morning and thinking, actually, I don't feel like working today. Yeah, my children can die. Whatever. Yeah, a tiger can eat me. Whatever, bro. I don't fucking care. I'm not gonna work. I don't feel like it. There is no I don't feel like it. You have to do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. And that's where the 1-minute rule comes in. Be like your ancestors, be like the Spartans, don't be like these typical modernity freaks. If you really want to be a modern person, you're gonna be a loser. So you need to change something about that. You need to act like the Spartans. So what did they do? They started doing it anyway. So the 1-minute rule is, every single time I would not want to do something, I would purposefully just grab the book, just grab this one book, open it up and just read for 1 minute. And holy shit, I will not stop because 1 minute is far too little for a book. And then it would actually get better, it would actually get easier, the resistance would die down, and essentially everything would change. Now I do want to mention something. A lot of people end up failing thanks to something. As I mentioned, there are 5 rules to this framework, yet there are only 4 written down over here. So what do I mean by this? You see, there is this one simple statement, one simple thing that many people end up failing thanks to not respecting that. And that is, bear with me for a while, number 5, it is reminding yourself. You see, there is one good quote which states, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And that's exactly correct. You see, this will not be the first time you see this information. Somebody in the future will see this video, he will get inspired to create his own version of this, and you will see the exact same framework. In fact, maybe you're not seeing it for the first time from me either. And I just reminded you of that. So that's something that we humans struggle with. To give you the bro science, why do you think we go to the church every single week? Why do you think there are gatherings every single week? Why do you think in school specifically there are those classes that are meant specifically for you to just go back and recap upon every lecture? Well, it's exactly because of that, for you to remember it and for you to remind yourself of it. So remind yourself of this daily if you can, if not, at least a couple of times a week. You have to create this vision and read it aloud to yourself every single day. And I would dare to say so, go so far like I myself to have like 10 versions of this. Like create those and put them everywhere. Put them in your car, put them in your pocket, put them on your phone background screen, put them on your phone wallpaper, put them on your PC, everywhere. And just remind yourself of that, because you have no clue how valuable this is. And I do want to say, not all the time will you pay attention. Not all the time will you read everything. But just that little glance will remind your brain of exactly what it needs to do. Your subconscious is powerful, so respect that ratio. So that's exactly the 5-step framework that you must follow to achieve this. The number 1 is find your intention. The number 2 is create a vision out of that intention. The number 3 is asking yourself, can I have sex right now? Question every single time you feel horny. And number 4 is the 1-minute rule and acting like a Spartan. And finally, number 5 is reminding yourself of exactly what you've just created. That's it. So now that you understand this, I have a quick challenge for you, and that is to try this advice for at least 7 days. You see, 7 days isn't a lot. I say to people typically go at least for 90 days with this advice. But just to begin with, try this for 7 days, create that vision, go and remind yourself of it every single day. Start replacing those bad behaviors with good ones. And now, come back in the comments and let me know how did this go. And if you're interested into more personalized stuff, you can even check out the description for more information, because I do coach people one-on-one. Thank you for watching, bro, and I'm gonna see you at the top.